Good morning. Let me just say welcome to everybody. As you know, if you hang around this building enough today, we have got a lot of committees going on, and we've got several members that are in and out of different committees. So we're going to be waiting a few minutes for some of them. They're waiting on a bill to come up in a different committee, and as soon as we can get a quorum, we'll be ready to go. But thank you for your patience, and we'll be ready to go just as soon as we get that done. Thank y'all. Just to give you a quick update, we've just been notified we've got three other senators on the way and the bill sponsor, and so hang tight with us just a minute, and thank you for your patience. Well, good morning and welcome. This morning, we have two bills on the agenda. Both of them will have public hearings. We will not be voting either bill. So we will get ready to go here in just a minute. I thank my colleagues for making time for being here this morning also, because it is a very busy morning for a lot of people. And so a lot of bills are being looked at in different committees. We will start, of course, first let's go ahead and call roll and call the meeting to order.
Senator Albritton? Senator Beasley? Senator Elliott? Senator Gudger? Senator Price? Senator Sessions? Senator Stewart?
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. I tell you what we'll do. Senator Wagner is on his way. Yeah. And but Lee, would you like to open us up, and if we'll as soon as we call this bill, maybe start as far as discussing the bill a little bit to us, and then when Senator Wagner's here, we'll let him, and then we'll get into the public hearing itself. How's that? And so go ahead and call the first bill.
SB 290 by Senator Wagner.
Yes, go. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
If y'all didn't see the recent news release, the tourism industry grew by $1 billion again last year for the fourth year in a row. And thanks to the leadership of this committee, in the last 10 years, tourism has grown from $11 billion to $22 billion. And that completes my report.
And we thank you so much for the information, and thank you for what you do for this state. You have been the driving force to help that growth continue to happen, and we appreciate what you're doing. We'll go ahead and get started with the public hearing. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the recognition. I also would like to send commendations to Mr. Centel and the Tourism Department. I'm just so grateful to be able to discuss tourism in this meeting today. I represent the Civil Rights District, so I know how important, in Selma in particular, how important tourism, and that's why I joined this committee or volunteered to be on this committee, so I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Each participant, as far as speaking today, you'll have 3 minutes. We'll give you a 1-minute warning, and with that, we'll get started.
Proponent John Oros.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to this great committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, and thank you for being here to discuss the value of tourism improvement districts, or TIDs, to the tourism economy of our state. My name is John Oros of the Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau. I'm a former hotelier, having spent 15 years with Holiday Inn Worldwide. In the past 31 years in senior positions with the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau as Executive VP COO, and currently now with the Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau as President and CEO. This TID is innovative for state tourism. As you know, tourism has grown substantially, as Director Centel alluded to, over the last few years, following the devastation of our industry suffered during the pandemic. That said, a slowdown is inevitable. It's not a question of if, but it's a question of when that slowdown will occur. This innovative legislation brings more visitors, revenue, and sustainability to your areas and to our state. I have seen the process of trying to accomplish this at the local level and know firsthand how draining it can be to get it up and running. Implementation of successful TIDs takes widespread collaboration and agreement at the state and local government levels, and with our industry partners. We worked with Civitas, the world's leading firm in the development of tourism improvement districts and business improvement districts formation, to draft legislation that would benefit every destination in Alabama. Civitas has been involved in every TID formation of over 200 districts in the United States for over 30 years. The 30 CVBs who make up the Alabama Association of Destination Marketing Organizations, also known as AADMO, collaborated extensively with every state tourism organization that showed interest for the past 5 months to form enabling legislation, enabling TID legislation, including the ARHA. 4 destinations in our state actually have TIDs or are working on them: Huntsville, Florence, Mobile, and Montgomery. This legislation would ease the first step of a 3-step process in TID development by enabling legislation that requires 2 local approvals by petition by the businesses that would be impacted. Approval of each destination's district management plan, which requires the specifics of classifications for each unique destination from local government by ordinance in order to form the TID. There is a 30-day notice for affected businesses, 2 hearings, 2 notices, and a 30-day protest period prior to the establishment of the district. This bill has a unique TID accountability dissolution clause starting in year 2 and every subsequent year with a 30-day notice requirement. With petitions thresholds passed, the program would be dissolved as a result of dissatisfaction or mismanagement. SB 290 is the enabling legislation that is the cake. The district plan, the local plans, provides the ingredients that each destination must develop because it is an essential requirement. Every destination has different asset classes that must be defined at the individual destination level. The hard work begins at the destination level. Stakeholders must have trust, transparency, inclusivity between all businesses involved for the TID to pass. SB 290 assessments, as originally submitted, give local tourism businesses the capability of creating new dollars that can fund capital improvements for existing and new tourism infrastructure in your districts, such as sports complexes and entertainment venues, increased tourism marketing and awareness campaigns, bid fees required to host major sporting events, conventions, and trade shows. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Remember, we do have a 3-minute limit, and call the next, please.
Deborah Miller.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It's great to be here with you all today. I am actually the stand-in because our chairman and CEO, Mindy Hannon, is in a trip in D.C., and our other chairman, Penny Grew, had surgery, so I'm the lackey stand-in. I passed out to you all her testimony, and I'm not going to read that to you all because y'all are very capable of doing that. I will just take a moment to say a few brief remarks. While ARHA is not opposed to the concept of a TID, ARHA believes that the interest of business owners subject to the assessment should be protected, and additionally, the business owners should evaluate each project with their eyes wide open. Additionally, we believe that if business owners are going to tax themselves, the business owner should be the one who set the rules for how the TID should operate, not the non-assessed, non-tax-paying entities who would be receiving funding from such an assessment. We wholly support the idea of TIDs. We came before you several years ago with a group of Mobile supporting the legislation. We just simply ask for you to consider 2 small amendments. One that would give ARHA notice so we can give that to our members, and also a further declassification of the business entities to be taxed. You'll hear some testimony from some of our other members who are not in the DC trip today, and I hope you will take to heart what they have to say. And again, we support CVBs. Mindy is actually the chairman of the tourism board. So we are gung-ho for CVBs and TIDs. We just want to be a part of the assessment and have it fair and open. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us this morning. Next.
Rob Carnegie.
Good morning. It's good to see you today. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. My name is Rob Carnegie. I'm the president CEO of the Florence Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. My remarks will be relatively brief this morning, but I'm holding in my hand a file folder that has petitions signed by every hotel in the Florence City District in support and favor of a tourism improvement district in our city. Further to that, they have formed a nonprofit, a corporation, which will really act as a mechanism for them to be able to carry out the plans and initiatives that they have set out in a plan that will be approved by our city council very shortly. We, as a destination marketing organization, receive no funding from this initiative. We are there to support and come alongside these efforts. There's a board that's made up of 10 individuals, 7 of those being hoteliers, 3 from community organizations in a non-voting capacity. We started on this initiative over 4 years ago, and we are about to cross the finish line in about 3 months to begin collection. But I think what the beautiful thing is about a tourism improvement district is that it allows small to medium-sized destinations like us to not only increase visitor demand, but to be able to invest back in their communities, to build product offerings, capital improvements that not only attract visitors to our area, but improves the quality of life for residents, not only just in Florence, but across the entire state. And so today I also have a letter from Larry Bowser, who's the general manager, who has been the general manager of the Marriott Shoals for 19 years, and I'd like to submit that to the committee this morning if I could, and just ask for your support of SB 290, its original submission without the amendments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for taking time to be here today.
Mr. Patel.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
1 minute, Mr. Patel.
While Mr. Patel's coming up, but you're welcome to come up. I've got to run back to judiciary for some bills that are there, and I understand you're not voting this bill today. And I wondered if I might have about 30 seconds to make some comments.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And I just wanted to say, as the guy that represents a place where we have 8 million visitors a year on a little strip of white sandy beach down at the Gulf, that I am, like Ms. Miller and the Restaurant and Hospitality Association, supportive of the concept of a TID. However, there have been serious concerns expressed about this piece of legislation from the Alabama Restaurant and Hospitality Association, from the County Commission Association, and from the National Federation of Independent Businesses. And I would like to continue to work to try to get those concerns reconciled prior to moving forward with this legislation. And I appreciate the latitude to say that publicly before I have to excuse myself. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to address the committee. I'm Sanjay Patel. I own several hotels in the state of Alabama, and I also serve as the Alabama Regional Director of the Asian American Hotel Owners Association, which equates to about 62% of the hotels owned in the state of Alabama. We've got some concern about the bill for a few reasons. They're calling this tax a self-assessment. We believe it's wrong for the government to cede its taxation authority to a group of businesses to tax another group of businesses. 55% of the businesses should not be able to tell the others they are going to tax themselves. We believe it should be a higher percentage. The other side will tell you there are over 200 of these TIDs across the country. Over 100 of them are in California, and a lot more in the Northeast. Currently, there's only one active in the state of Alabama. The Elliott Amendment, which would further define the classes of businesses, is imperative in Alabama. We're a little bit different here because the majority of our convention center hotels are quasi-government owned entities. The Westin and Sheraton in Birmingham is operated by and owned by the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Authority. The Renaissance hotels are RSA owned. And so additionally, Alabama also has some of the highest occupancy taxes across the nation. The average across the U.S. is 14.2%. Birmingham, Huntsville, Montgomery are around 20%. And so we're already facing higher occupancy taxes. And so in closing, we'd also find it critical that ARHA receive notice about this assessment. As you see, the bill is very complicated and tedious, and we're busy running our hotels and businesses and restaurants. If we can just get notice of any changes of this bill at ARHA, we'd greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for your time today.
David Clark.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee. First of all, I appreciate your leadership and all that you do for tourism. I'm David Clark. I support Visit Mobile as CEO and our destination for the last 7 years. We have also been, we were the first TID formed in the state. Our team executes the TID every day for the last 4 years. I was analytically involved 3 years prior to that to form the TID. I am president of the AADMO representing 31 destinations. I have lived all my life. I've supported resorts, attractions, restaurants, lodging. This is a very, very innovative and great thing. I've also been a board member of the AHRA for 8 years and currently a board. The TID is a total game changer. It has been for Mobile. We have been able to do things that we've never been close to do. Examples, telling Mobile's story in terms from a digital standpoint, from social media campaigns, from Expedia campaigns, commercial spots, air service promotions, cruise promotions, capital campaigns, net economic impact, visitor data collection, so on and so forth, market research. Unfortunately, I have to spend some time kind of telling you why the amendment by ARHA is a really bad idea. The AADMO, we have been working with everybody, almost everybody for 5 months, integrally with ARHA. They're not opposing it, but I think there's a pretty big misunderstanding of the amendment that they put in there. This is not a tax, by the way. It is not a tax, right? This is an assessment that is imposed by the business, collected by the business or government, 100% controlled by the business for the betterment of the business, right? A tax is imposed by the government, collected by the government, and spent by the government. So, you know, the rogue amendment by just a couple of people really kills the intent of the bill. It kills it, the intent of the bill. There are already 3 current state laws in Alabama with TID legislation that are working well, that you passed. 5 states have introduced enabling legislation this year. Illinois, Minnesota, Ohio, Indiana, none of which have these rigid subclass restrictions. There are 23 states with TID vehicles, none of which have these rigid restrictions. There are 210 districts in 23 states for 25 years at almost 100% renewal rate. If they are AHA rigid amendments passed, post-formation would force the TID to police and monitor all businesses and their operations to comply with statutory requirements. The rigid nature proposed by AHA amendments makes it impossible to establish a TID. I have a letter of support from the Retirement Systems of Alabama by Jim Buckley that's submitted to you, and by our forming member of our TID, Margot Gilbert of the Battle House, in full support. So thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Clark.
Mr. Clark,
1 minute. Go ahead, sir.
Senator Sessions from Mobile
Yes,
County, and you said we have this in Mobile already. How are the businesses assessed? What are they assessed?
Yes, sir.
And how many does it take to pass any kind of assessment?
So the key provisions of our bill were 60% assessment, 50% of the businesses. We had 63 hotels drawn in citywide, and we had a pass of that. So it's $1 a room night. It collects $1.3 million a year. It's totally controlled by the board. All decisions we market at the pleasure of the TID board.
But isn't it just strictly a basically room night tax?
$1
Anything
per room
allowed?
night.
That's the only thing allowed. Y'all can raise that if you if everyone, all the hotels, you get the 50% or whatever threshold?
50% of the business must pass it and sign a petition, and 60% of the assessment has to be passed. In our case, it's room nights. So let's say for ease of math, there were 6,000 rooms drawn in, 3,600 would have to pass this. That's the assessment methodology. The methodology, the trigger of the TID is the assessment of what you're trying to do. It's either the rooms, percentage of revenue, average check covers, whatever it is. The classes, this is really important to understand. To lock in, it's about businesses, right? And they have the right to opt in or opt out. And the local government has the approval to strike it down too.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Patel?
Good morning. Thank you for taking time to listen to me today. My name is Rupin Patel. I am a Subway franchisee in a small hotelier in Birmingham, Alabama. We are a family-owned business. I believe this bill will negatively impact business in the state by adding another tax on an already struggling industry. We have already seen staggering price increases on our cost of goods. This will add to the bottom line to our customers, and which will probably make them reconsider coming to our restaurants. And also the same way, this will hurt the hotels and motels in our cities. A small family-owned business cannot afford to raise the bottom line rates. It will force the customers to reconsider going elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brant Tucker?
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner and members for being here. My name is Brant Tucker. I own and operate Willie's Wings in Auburn. I've been working in the restaurant industry for over 30 years now. And I thought it was important to come here today and voice some concerns I have about this legislation. First of all, I am concerned there's no distinction between the different types of businesses. If you go in any existing area where there's a number of businesses, you're likely to find that they differ widely in their need for this, as well as their willingness to participate and the potential benefits to different businesses. To me, if you just lump small restaurants and mom and pop shops locally in with big hotels and tourist attractions, you're setting up a situation that could certainly be burdensome, particularly for small businesses. The restaurant industry in particular, like many others, has experienced extremely high inflation in recent years, and I think, would be adversely affected by any kind of cost that I think invariably are going to be directly passed on to our consumers, and that would be something that we would not be happy about for sure. That being said, though, my biggest concern is the 55% threshold for approval to get one of these districts started. For a business that is existing and is already paying taxes to the government, it doesn't seem right that they should have to worry about being taxed by the neighbors. And I know that technically this is not a tax, but I'm betting for people that are in the 45% who may vote against this and end up having to pay it, it would very much feel like a tax. And especially it shouldn't be done by just a small majority like 55%. In my opinion, the creation of these TIDs should require 100% approval from any businesses that are already existing and operating in the proposed district. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you, sir. This time, Senator Wagner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me first apologize for being late. I had a bill down in Judiciary Committee on the third floor, and it went overtime, so that's the reason. I've served on the board of the Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau for 30 or 40 years, a long time, and I never miss a meeting. I love working with Mr. John Oros of that, who works for the committee or works for the board. But anyhow, I was asked to introduce this bill by some folks in the tourism industry. And I've been in this process a good many years, and I've learned to know that you win some and you lose some. That's just part of the process. You know, the majority wins and the minority loses, okay? So you win some, you lose some. But I want to thank this committee for hearing this. You know, I've had my day in court with it, and it's been heard by both sides. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll just give it back to you, and I assume you want to vote on this issue.
No, sir, we will not vote today. And so, any other committee members have anything else that they would like to say at this time? And so, let me just say this before we move on to the next bill. Thank you for what each of you do as far as the tourism industry. We know how important it is, and we know the engine that it keeps our state going in a lot of directions. What I have heard, and I think some of the committee members have expressed to me, they have heard from both sides. What I encourage each of you to do is to maybe get together and let's see if we can find some ground that we can actually land on. And so that is what I think we need to do. We, as a tourism committee, want to make sure that we do what we need to do to keep tourism in place the way it is in the state of Alabama. But we would like for you to sit down together and try to work something out. I'll be glad to meet with you and see what direction we go. Senator, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just have the opportunity to say, Mr. Lee Centel, thank you for what you do for this state. We all know that you've been here and you've helped create this tourism to get it from that 11 billion to 22 billion that where we are. I just didn't want you to leave this room without letting you know that I appreciate you, and I think everybody on this committee does too. So I just echo the words of Rob Stewart earlier, and we appreciate everything you do. Thank you so much.
That's a good amen. Thanks for what you do. Let's call the next bill, please.
SB 259 by Senator Singleton.
Senator?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having this bill on the calendar today, and thank you for giving a public hearing. I think you know that this is not a new issue. I want to thank Senator Livingston for championing this issue for a period of time. We put on a resolution to study this issue. We've studied it up and down. I don't think there's a whole lot new here that the members of this audience don't know about. This bill basically has a couple of small changes in it from the other bills that have been out there. Number one, the ABV is down to 8%, and the tax rate goes from 98 cents down to 68 cents. I talked to ABC about the 8% and the 68-cent tax. They had their views about it. And so I'm asking to try to keep this alive. I think this is a viable piece of product that can help the state of Alabama gross more income if it is spread out outside of the ABC stores into our grocery stores. I don't think that is a real control factor. I think there are ways to control it. The director of ABC and I have talked about that. One of the things we put on the table was mandatory training for licensors who was going to get the license. Right now, it's a volunteer thing, and making it mandatory for convenience stores and grocery stores to train their people on a mandatory basis to make sure that we're not selling to underage citizens of the state of Alabama. So with that, I'd just like to start the public hearing and hear what they have to say. I just want to keep this issue alive.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate your interest in this item. We appreciate what you're doing. Go ahead.
Glenn Wilkins.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee members. My name is Glenn Wilkins. I'm a Director of Public Affairs for Walmart. I do government relations as well, and a member of the Alabama Grocers Association over here. First of all, I want to thank Leader Singleton for putting this out there, for keeping this alive and allowing us to discuss this. At Walmart stores, we have over 144 units in the state of Alabama. Close to 42,000 associates are employees in the state of Alabama as well. I also wanted to mention and thank Mr. Centel for what he did. He's talking about how the tourism dollars went up $1 billion for a total of $23.5 billion. That's a lot of people coming to the state. It's a lot of people coming here to spend money. A lot of people don't understand how the alcohol laws exist in the state of Alabama. So I just wanted to bring that up as far as confusion goes. When they walk in and the products that they're used to buying, they're not able to buy in a grocery store. They have to go to a separate facility to buy that. And trying to explain to them the difference between how the beverages are distilled or not is extremely confusing and can be troublesome for us as a business and grocers in the state. I also want to reiterate, this is not something that the grocers are making up as a demand, saying, hey, we want to get this out, we want to make it easier. The customers are coming to us and saying, why can't we buy this in a grocery store? This isn't us trying to get out in front of something, trying to figure out what they want before they want it. Customers want it. Customers are looking at us and confused why they can't buy a distilled base over a malt or a wine-based beverage. So I also want to bring up, if you want to talk about regulation, what is safe, and I've brought this up before, but these are for mixed drinks that are controlled, they're regulated. It's the same percentage of alcohol in every single can. And I don't know about you, but when I mix my own drinks, it's not consistent. If I'm having a Jack and a Coke, it has a tendency to be a little bit more Jack than Coke. And when you have folks that are going out there to the beach, they're going to be drinking all legal age, is what we hope for, what we sell to. It's consistent every single time, and it's a lower alcohol, it's a lower ABV on that. So safety on that alone. We've been working on this issue for the last 3 years. We've had many conversations. We've got different parties coming together. We've had meetings between 5 people and 50 people. And I'll tell you, we're really not making a lot of headway, but because Senator Singleton has done this, we appreciate that. We want to move forward. We're glad to have this out in the public, and we look forward to having a vote on it as well. Thank you. I know not today, but we look forward to having a vote on it. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the recognition. Walmart, sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Glenn Wilkins.
Yeah, as I stated earlier in the tourism, I'm from Mobile.
Yes, sir.
And we have Costco down there in Mobile, and they have a liquor store right beside their Costco. Walmart can't get a license to have a liquor store next to their.
We absolutely
I mean,
can.
there's ways to make it available at your location.
That's correct.
So, and I, and while I'm on this, I have some grocery stores that have liquor stores right next door.
Right.
That they own the liquor store also, and they have the RTDs at their grocery store. I have a Chevron convenience store right next to my house that has a liquor store right beside it. So I think there's ways to make these available. I just, I think some of the propaganda that I shouldn't have said propaganda, but some of the information that has been put out to favor this legislation really makes it to where, if this market is growing exponentially, as it says in this literature, why change? But no, this is my time.
No, I know.
I'm not looking for an answer, but I'm just
understand. Thank
saying
you.
there are avenues to make it more available to your customers that are coming to your stores. This legislation is not needed. This is not a good piece of legislation. So I just want everybody to know up front that there are ways.
Thank you.
And you're not changing the alcohol that's being served. It's no different than having Jack Daniels out of the liquor store and mixing it with Coke. You're not changing the additives. You're just changing the way a consumer's getting it. But anyway, that's my
Thank you.
comments on that.
Thank you, sir.
I forgot you on me tomorrow.
Emily Cotney.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, for being willing to listen to us today. I'm Emily Brown Cotney. I am a Senior Vice President at Buffalo Rock. I'm their Chief Employee Experience Officer and in-house legal counsel. I hope you all know about Buffalo Rock. We're a 123-year-old Alabama company. We're family-owned, and we've been based in Birmingham, Alabama that whole time. We have 9 locations in the state of Alabama and approximately 2,000 employee partners and families that we support here in the state of Alabama. In the past few weeks, we've been named by the beverage industry as the 2024 Bottler of the Year, and that's something that's representative of the entire beverage organization. And we're really proud of that because we were recognized as an independent bottler. We were recognized for our investment in our infrastructure that we've been heavily investing in over the past few years, and recognized for our company culture and commitment to our communities. And those are all things that we've been able to do without franchise law. As Buffalo Rock, we support fairness in the free market. We believe that market competition is good. We believe that contracts can manage this process and that legislation is unnecessary and restrictive. We oppose barriers of entry and barriers to free trade. We believe that it benefits the very few. We believe that open competition is good for consumers, our customers, and also the state of Alabama. The restrictive policies could discourage brands and innovation from coming to the state of Alabama. We believe that's already happening today. And it creates unnecessary complexity at the retail level as well. Mixed spirit beverages can be distributed without franchise law. We don't need legislation to protect our business at Buffalo Rock. We're investing in our company and our communities every day and evolving our business without these restrictive barriers. We're asking you to keep the doors of business opportunity open to all, and we believe that consumers, customers, and our communities win with free market enterprise. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for being here today.
Alex Woods.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairman Price and all committee members for your time this morning, for your time on this bill, and for all the time that you devote to our state. My name is Alex Wood. I'm here on behalf of Autry Greer and Sons. I am their legal in-house counsel. Autry Greer and Sons is a family-owned and operated Alabama-based grocery retailer. We're currently operating in our 107th year with 18 locations in Alabama, as well as additional locations in Florida and Mississippi. We support this bill and the ability to sell the ready-to-drink beverages in our stores. Our customers consistently ask for these beverages when they come to our stores. From a tourism perspective, the fact that these drinks are not available in our grocery and retail stores is confusing to those visiting our state, where our neighboring states have already allowed the sale of the ready-to-drink beverages in retail settings like ours. Consumers of these ready-to-drink beverages are focused on convenience. They want the can, they want it ready to go. They want one-stop shopping. We have several locations that are close to state lines, and we do see consumers going across state line to purchase the beverages in a one-stop shopping location. Retailers like us are losing significant sales, and the state is losing significant tax dollars under the existing laws that restrict the sale of ready-to-drink beverages to a limited number of locations. Our laws need to change to meet the consumer demand. Again, thank you for your time, and thank you for your consideration of this bill. We hope that you will support it.
Thank you for being here.
Bo Taylor.
Morning.
Good morning. I'm Bo Taylor, Senior Vice President at Coca-Cola Bottling Company United. Been privileged to work there for 39 years. Thank you, Senator Price, and the members of the committee for the opportunity to speak this morning. All of you know about Coca-Cola United. We've been in business since 1902. We're privately held. We're proud to say we're an Alabama-based company. We have facilities from Florence to Dothan to Mobile to Auburn. And so we're very well entrenched in the state of Alabama. We're also very well recognized by our customers as a respectable company that does business the right way. We wake up every day to do things to contribute to their success, and we will continue to do that. But today, as it relates to SB 259, we stand here opposing the bill. It's for one simple reason. There's franchise language in the bill. The bill is 55 pages long, and it exists 23 pages of franchise law. So what's underneath the franchise laws? Restriction, elimination of trade, of opportunity to compete. It is for the benefit, make no mistake, for the select few in the alcohol industry. It is a cloak of protection, an entitlement that puts them in a position to be successful and eliminate all others. We just don't believe that's the right way to do business. Some will say they remain neutral. We do not remain neutral. We know what we stand for. We believe for the 4,000 associates that we represent in the state of Alabama. If we chose to distribute in 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola, we want that right. We do not want government legislation that eliminates that opportunity. We can absolutely get ready-to-drink beverages to the consumer, to the customers, without franchise language. It is done in other states. It can be done in Alabama. At the end of the day, without franchise language, no one is excluded, to include the current distributors. The business contracts between a parent company and the distributor are in place. Franchise laws supersede contract law, and they eliminate contract law and provide that limit of protection. I will tell you this, that if you think about it this way, imagine you've been in business for over 120 years. There's a beverage in front of you that says Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola. It has your trademark name on that can. And there's legislation in place that says you cannot put that on your truck. You do not have that right, because we passed legislation that gave an opportunity for the select few to have that opportunity. And we just don't believe that's right. We will continue to discuss. We will continue to do all the things that we can possibly do to help our customers. We've always been in favor of our customers selling it, if that's what the state of Alabama chooses to do. But we certainly oppose franchise language and restriction of trade. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you for being with us this morning.
Jeff Brown.
My name is Jeff Brown, Brown Oil Company in Gadsden, Alabama. I own 7 convenience stores, and I serve small businessmen in 23 other locations. I want to introduce Mr. Eric Crowder, who is an actual retailer with 3 stores.
I just want to say thank you for letting us speak today, and thank you for giving this opportunity.
I appreciate that opportunity as well. First of all, I want to thank Senator Singleton for his support of this important legislation. I'm here today as a member. I also was the past chairman of the Petroleum and Convenience Marketers of Alabama. It's our 75th year of working together. We represent more than 200 member companies who collectively own, operate, and or supply 3,000 convenience stores across the state of Alabama. We employ more than 60,000 Alabamians in locations statewide, and we conduct more than 3.7 million retail transactions every single day. The swipe fees on those transactions, but that's a discussion for a whole nother day. For our customers, it's about convenience. It's what we do. That's who we are. Our customers want these products. Our customers are asking for these products. Customers have been evaluated by the study groups. 74% of the customers across the state of Alabama are asking for these products to be there. I mentioned that we have 3,000 retail locations across the state of Alabama. We have those, and then we've got 4 Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is the Disney World of convenience stores. It's a destination. It's where people go. People travel through the state. They have the opportunity to buy items from stores like Buc-ee's and ours that are there. So, well, there's a way to market that. There's a way to do that. Small operators cannot make the $1 million investment in order to be able to have a liquor store attached to their store. There's one thing about Buc-ee's I'd like for you to think about. There's something missing at a Buc-ee's. There's something that everyone in this room has, except for Eric and I. I'll circle back to that in just a moment. Spirit-based ready-to-drink beverages are the fastest growing products in this category. We ask for them to be available in our stores. We've shown that we can market them properly. We can do it and can control who purchases them. We do that, and we do that well. I would ask in this room, how many Alabama and Auburn fans do we have? Not dividing. How many Alabama and Auburn fans do we have in this room? You just raise your hand. Come on, work with me. Raise your hand. Okay, anybody that's not raising their hand right now is obviously not from the state of Alabama because we make that choice. But you can go to an Alabama or an Auburn football or basketball game. You can buy these products there at the concession stand. You can't buy them at our stores. Our vendors, who are our friends, they have differences on this. The difference seem to be about the franchise issues that are there. There are vendors. We want to work with them. We have tried to work with them. We have asked them to cooperate. And so we end up with a situation to where that we want to have some say in terms of what's sold behind our cooler doors and on the shelves. You know, we're looking at additional revenue for the state. $10 million is what's estimated. $10 million. And that's a choice. That's not a legislated tax that would be there. Just the licensing fee would give us another $1.5 million in terms of additional revenue to go to the ABC board. You know, we kind of feel like the little ball player, the little kid that's sitting on the front porch of his home, and the parents are inside arguing about who's going to take him to the ball field. But he's the one that pays the price when he gets to practice late because they wouldn't settle their differences. What's missing at the Buc-ee's? It's a chair. A chair. They want you to come and go. All we're asking for is a chair. Sit at the table. We want a level playing field. We ask for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today. Next.
Brandon Owens.
Oh, thank y'all for the opportunity. Senator Sessions said a lot of the stuff I was going to say earlier about these are not disallowed for being sold in Walmarts and grocery stores if they make the investment, like many convenience stores have also done as well. And many of them are small operators and they're members of our organization. Let me back up. I am the executive director of the Alabama Beverage Licensees Association. We represent package stores, restaurants, and bars across the state. And what we want to say about this legislation is this is not about convenience. This is about putting liquor in more convenient locations, grocery stores, gas stations, et cetera. We have went through the process, our members, restaurants, bars, and package stores, went through the process of being allowed to sell these products. We are very well regulated. We are probably tested more than any other business in the state from state regulators. ABC checks us all the time to make sure we're not selling to underage people. These products are a lot, kids are a lot more likely to enjoy these products than they are a high alcohol beer or a high alcohol wine. And ABC has actually done a study on that to let people know about it. One thing I want to say is in the past, these products have been difficult to get, but that's when they were starting. ABC has done a great job so far of making sure that we are able to supply customers for what they want. And many of our stores, they were talking about one-stop shopping. Many of our stores are located adjacent to grocery stores. So there is one-stop shopping. It's just that children cannot come into our stores. The only people that can go in our stores, you have to be 21 and over to come into our stores. We're not allowed to allow anybody underage to come into our stores. This has been a very big boon for our businesses after the COVID situation. Many of our restaurants, bars, and package stores suffered from COVID, and this sort of came up at the same time. And we appreciated the opportunity to be able to sell these, and it has helped us out, and it will continue to help out our businesses, which are mostly small businesses. We're not located in Arkansas or Florida or any other place. We are mostly located in the state of Alabama, and we are residents here and so forth. I just don't understand. One other thing I want to point out is we've talked about how customers are demanding these products. And from what I've talked to my members, no customer has come in here and come into our store and said, "Oh, thank God, I finally found these." It is, they know where to go to get these. I mean, this is not hidden. We put these out. They go to ABC stores. There are over 3,000 businesses and state stores in the state where these products are available. There is not a shortage of places to get these. And one other thing I want to talk about is the revenue. This bill, it seems like at this point that that this slashes the taxes on it. I don't think that this is going to help. It's going to balance out with more demand, because once you have something that comes up in the alcohol field, they generally will stop buying something else. So it's really going to balance out, but this is higher tax than that. Is that my time? All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Mark Gaines.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, I'm Mark Gaines with the law firm of Adams and Reese. We represent the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States. We're here today as producers and marketers of distilled spirits sold in the United States, and we're here today to support SB 259. And I'm just reading a brief statement from my association because they could not be here today. This bill would level the playing field and allow low alcohol by volume, ready-to-drink mixed spirit beverages to be sold where similar beer and wine RTD products are already sold in Alabama retail stores. This bill aims to end point-of-sale inequality facing the spirits industry and expand the responsible adult consumer access to these products at or below 8% ABV volume in Alabama. There's no reason to keep these popular spirit RTD products out of stores where beer and wine RTDs with the same alcohol content are already sold. Currently, mixed spirit beverages can only be sold in ABC and package stores simply because of the type of alcohol they contain. Currently, beer and wine-based RTDs can be sold in more than 4,600 locations, including grocery and convenience stores. Meanwhile, highly popular spirit RTDs or mixed spirit beverages with the same or lower amounts of alcohol can only be sold in 980 locations. There's no difference between alcohol that is made from fermented sugar, malted barley, grapes, fruit, or grain. This bill would ensure adult consumers equal retail access to low ABV beverages regardless of the source of the alcohol. And just in conclusion, I will say, y'all know better than anybody, the debate over this legislation has been going on for 3 years. A lot of infighting between different associations and interest groups. At the end of the day, it's about money. I don't belittle those groups on that score at all. They're all good people, but this is about consumers, and it's about your constituents. The bill is being offered because the demand is there. The consumers, your constituents, want the product in more convenient locations. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the committee.
Thank you for being here.
Tom Coker.
I'm going to get y'all back on track on time. I'm here representing Anheuser-Busch and Mr. Chairman and members and Ms. Lewis. We appreciate this opportunity to just say that we have a study committee that has reported that the legislation is not ready at this time, and that's what we support. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Davis.
Thank you. Michael Davis. I represent United Johnson Brothers, which is the largest wine distributor in Alabama. I sincerely want to thank the leadership of Senator Singleton, Senator Livingston, Senator Price, and the other members of the study committee. I know this has been a fun issue, and it keeps on remaining to be a fun issue. But I gave you a handout that this was made available to all the study committee members earlier in the process. And, this speaks to one of the main issues of this legislation is the franchise. Alabama has been very clear, the legislature has been very clear that franchise laws exist and are in place in alcohol for beer and wine, similar as other franchise laws that protect many other industries, service industries, automobile industries. Franchise is not an evil, bad, uncompetitive process, as others would have you believe. I left the brochure open to one page, which simply shows a beer and wine aisle, which is under franchise protection, versus a Coke and Pepsi aisle. If you want your beer and wine aisles to look like your Coke and Pepsi aisles, then, contract, maybe you need to consider contract. There are literally thousands of products that are available from small and distilleries, not distilleries, I'm sorry, small batch craft beers, wineries that make it to the public stores because of the franchise laws that come into place. Coke and Pepsi, there are two main manufacturers of soft drinks, and they produce thousands and thousands of different brands. And what this whole issue boils down to is very simple. The Coke and Pepsi crowd, the soda crowd, have licensed syrup that goes to manufacturers that they put in their product. A Jack and Coke has Coke syrup in it. They want to lay claim to those products, where those products are a small fraction of the overall RTDs that are in the marketplace. So to blow up the whole thing, they want to get those products that are, licensed with their syrup, and they want to change the rules. And this would be akin to, Nick Saban deciding he wants to be a soccer coach and then going to soccer and saying, you know what, I think we should start using our hands. What's the problem with using our hands? You don't change the rules just because you want it to fit what, is best for you. So the franchise laws work very effectively, and they have for a long time. And we ask you to, think about what is right here. And what's right is how the industry is currently governed without issue, without, without any, upheaval. And to change it for one alcohol class is really not a right structure from a regulatory process or from a business practice process. There are thousands of small wineries and craft beer guys. That would mean we would have to have thousands of contracts. They have to have one contract because that's with Coke or Pepsi, because they get all the products, because they make all the products. So one contract versus thousands of contracts that we would have to make to enter into, and that is why it's an unsustainable, piece. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Keep working. Thanks.
Thank you, and thanks for your time. A couple of things as we're getting ready to wrap up. Director Stewart, I know you're here. You want to say anything today? We appreciate you being with us today.
Yep, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, and thank you, Chairman Price. I did not sign up to speak one way or the other on this bill, and of course, as the ABC board, we'll do whatever we're directed to do. I just wanted to be here to answer questions in case there were some questions, so I won't make any particular comments unless there's something a member wants me to say.
Senator Beasley?
I do.
Go ahead.
Mr. Stewart, appreciate you being here. These RTDs got Jack and Coke, High Noons. What's the alcohol in a High Noon? Is it vodka, or most of these RTDs are a
spirit-based.
Spirit-based. So, in my mind, we already have a 3-tier system that you oversee, and we're not changing what that alcohol is. It's still a spirit-based alcohol, so why do we need to change how we're handling it just because it's pre-mixed? I guess is my issue with this legislation. It's pre-mixed. People can get it if they want that product, they know where they can go get it. And we're dealing with alcohol. We're not dealing with candy bars or snacks. So in my mind, I don't think it's a good idea to make it easier or more convenient for a consumer to get something like alcohol. But I mean, I think you're answering my question is it's still the same. I mean, it's still Jack Daniels, it's still vodka, or it's still a spirit base. So you're just changing where it's mixed and perhaps how it's mixed. Is that correct?
Not where it's mixed, but where it's sold or how it's sold. It's sold at various on-premise locations, and that means it's consumed where it's bought. So there's restaurants, bars, etc. This bill would not affect that per se. This bill would affect the off-premise locations where you can get it and take it home or take it with you to consume. Right now, those locations that you can buy it in are all licensed by us. They're controlled locations. You can't be very young and go into it. You've got to be of age to go into those locations. I think someone made the point that there are a lot of package store locations that are right next to convenience stores. They're licensed as package stores. A grocery store could also do one. Anyone really with a $300 state fee can open a package store as long as they abide by the rules of a package store of how you do it. So it's widely available. We have over 800 package stores that sell these products off premise today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
And so, Senator Singleton, anything in closing?
Well, Mr. Chairman, again, I just want to thank you for hearing this today, and I want to say to those who are out there that hopefully that serious conversations are coming about and that one day we can get to this point. I understand that there's a big difference in the franchise and the contract piece, which is mainly the big hole up here. So I'm hopefully that I know that there have been some conversations between those two parties. I felt that we need to keep this alive and keep it going because I believe in this product and I believe that we should be able to free the hops, baby. Let it be open. Free enterprise. Let it go.
Senator, in the words of our late great Alvin Holmes, what's wrong with the system we got?
Ain't nothing wrong with the system that we got. I just think we can always perfect it better.
Yes, sir, Senator Beasley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we adjourn the meeting, I just wanted to acknowledge my friend Lisa Intel on the tremendous job you have done over the years as Director of Tourism, and I applaud you for your work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone being here today, and we stand adjourned.